Welcome to We Chat Football, channel where we chat football. And yes, back live again. Yes, on the road again. Not going to be home before the weekend. So most of my shows will be coming from my hotel room at the moment. So this is what? Today is Tuesday? Yeah, so the regular Liverpool show. You know how we do. We analyze the games that has been on over the weekend and just take a look at them and go back. What does it mean? What does this mean for Liverpool? What does this mean for the team going forward and stuff like that? So that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing right now because when we really analyze it, take a look at it, we finally got a win. Changes was made, changes that a lot of the fans were calling for. Lots of changes was made, and the fans have been calling for these changes. And that's the best thing we can say out of this weekend is that the changes that the fans called for, those changes happen, and yeah, that's a good thing. So the changes happen. We see a right back starting at right back, which is always a good thing. Always, we can always praise that finally the manager decided to put a right back at right back, and we're not seeing center midfielders playing at right back anymore. We're actually seeing right backs playing where they're supposed to play. Then we see the lights of um, Ricardo Salah going on the bench. That's another thing again. Team look a bit more balanced. Look a lot more defensively sound. Kirk is overlapping, stuff like that. So it's the first is a step in the right direction for the manager. I would say this is a step in the right direction, and this is not me now saying that okay then he's gonna turn things around. The things are looking great, and we're heading up the league, and we're back in. It's just one step in the right direction, and then we have to see from here, from this one step that he makes right here, where does he go from here? And that's it. It's where do we go from this one? We are at the right. We are in the right direction. We are pushing at the right spot, but where do we go from here? Um, is this going to be one of them where we look at it and be like, you know what? No, Liverpool is going to be firing up the league. No, we have to see what he does in the game today. Again, tomorrow against Sunderland. We have to see like what are the lineups against Sunderland. Is he gonna stick Mo Salah back in, or is he gonna trust this team that he put out like yes, like over the weekend? Is he gonna trust that team that he put out over the weekend again to say that you know what, run it back again, let's get some consistency going. Let's build some form within the team and see if we can beat Sunderland because Sunderland is not an easy win. Before ball was kicked this season, I wouldn't be saying that, but here we are sitting behind Sunderland in the league, and it's not looking good. So yeah, so that's going to be a really tough game. Coming up tomorrow, the game against Sunderland. He's been saying a lot in press conferences, not really following up a lot of what he says in press conferences, really, because he knows more than anybody else how important this result is for his time at Liverpool. He fully understands that. I don't think nobody else understands that more than him. That this is a very, 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 very important time. These couple of games for him, and I know there's a saying that he has like these games to save his job. I do not think that's the case. I do believe that they'll keep him around until they find that it's unattainable, and or whoever that the club thinks is the right man for the jobs taking them forward. That they once that person becomes available, then they will actually push forward for that person. But for right at this moment, I don't think that they're thinking about moving him on right now. But I will say this though: 6 losses in the season already is still not good, and That should be the reason for a sacking. But again, they did not pull the trigger. Again, things look slightly different when we played against West Ham over the weekend. But again, we are playing against West Ham. So playing against West Ham, it's one of those where we just like, okay, then how much can we take away from West Ham apart from the few bright sparks that we saw? No, Konate looks better. Konate have an actual right back playing beside him, and he looks better. The midfield looks a little bit more solid, right? They finally find a way to get Verts in the team, not just in the team, but looking good. Verts looked extremely good. It might be the case that Verts and Salah and Gakpo can't be on the field at the same time. In that case, like we have to start looking for towards the future, and that means that Verts might have to get that role. Just give it to him. Let him be the catalyst going forward now for Liverpool. Yes, it's not me trying to be ungrateful for what Salah has done, but Salah is a legend at the club. We just have to try to figure out at what point do we start looking beyond just Mo Salah. We can't start trying to look beyond Mo Salah for next season. Maybe it's the best time to start when he show a bit of dip of form. He doesn't look like the same player. Maybe this is the time that we start like putting somebody else in that position, allowing him to come off the bench, and then figure out next season where he goes from here as well. So there's a lot happening right now. Not gonna be kicking and screaming about the whole situation at the club. I mean, a win is a win. 3 points. Was I happy? Yes, I was happy with the 3 points. Was happy with the win. I was happy with the performance because again, even though it's not a classic performance, even though it's not one of them where we're looking at it and being like, oh my God, Liverpool is back. Look at the performance. It's one of them where you're like, okay, I see improvements. And even for the people who want him in or want him out, I think the biggest problem is that improvement. They have not been seen any improvement. It was actually getting worse throughout the season. So let's see the game on Sunderland. I think that's where everybody's kind of looking at. It's that game versus Sunderland to see if we're going to put in the same type of performance against Sunderland, like we did against West Ham, or improved performance. Are we going back to the performances that we were putting in before then, where we were we ran the least pretty much out of all the Premier League clubs. We lost the most 50-50s, the most dual tackles. I mean, yes, where we were one of the worst teams in the league. Are we going back to that? Or are we gonna just continue moving forward from where we were this game and just continue pushing forward with it to see if we can start moving back up the league? Again, title race is over. The only way we can get back in a title race is winning every single game from now till the end of the season, and that's not happening. So title race is over. Champions League, it's still there. It's a cup competition. If we can find form going into the second part of the campaign, we could pull it over the line. We see the same thing happen to PSG last season, where PSG started off their Champions League campaign really bad, really, really bad, and then they pull it together in the end. So we may be able to do something like that, maybe. And or we might not be able to do something like that. We are not 100% sure yet, but at least if we can go back to back win, which we haven't really get a chance to put together in a very, very long time. That's back to back Premier League win, I would say, not just back to back wins because we beat Villa and Real Madrid. But if we can go back to back Premier League wins, something that we haven't done in a while, then at least the fan base can start thinking, okay, are we start turning it around? Then we can go maybe three wins in a row, then four, then five. Confidence starts to build up back in the team. Then we start looking like what we looked like last season. figuring our way out without lumping everybody on the field all at once. So if we're able to get back to that standard of where we were, then it's a possibility that we could take that form into Europe and maybe have somewhat of a successful season. Right? The season is not completely dead. I mean, it's not completely dead. We still have the Champions League that we could win this season. We're still in the competition. We have a chance of winning it until we're not in it anymore. So we still have that we can look at. The league is pretty much wrapped up and done. And I think that's the only way, like, anybody in the fan base will actually turn around and forgive the manager at the end of the season, is that if we leave with one of the majors at the end of the season. Again, the amount that was spent, the amount that came in, um, leaving with one trophy at the end of the season, it would be a disappointment if it's not the league, because we're hoping that we could go um, back to back and stuff like that. But again, it's one of those where we're we're just in a hope right now, and hopefully we can take this form into the Champions League and go from there. All right, so we have Liverpool 11 here saying Semenya to Liverpool. That would be a good signing. That would be, for me, a really good signing to have Semenya in. Somebody who is direct, somebody who is pacey, somebody who can get behind the back line, stuff like that. And yeah, he's really good. I think that would be a good signing. A really good signing. But the other thing is, like, how much is Bournemouth gonna want for Semenya right now? Who is their talisman this season? So if we move for Semenya like in January or anytime like that, then that's we're gonna look at about 80 mil minimum. Is he worth 80 mil? Maybe not, but that's maybe the price that we'll be looking at, due to the fact that where Bournemouth is in the table, how important Semenya is to them. So I think that might be something we look at in the summer, unless some other team is in for him, and unless they can meet that requirement that Bournemouth would set. So if, for example, if Bournemouth is willing to listen to offers for in the likes of 50, 60, maybe up to 70, I think Liverpool would go in to make the deal. But if it's anything over that, then we could be looking at a summer signing for that one, because the January signing would be going back on the books of already spending 450, even though we sold a lot of players. And this including too as well that the likes of Harvey Elliott might be coming back to the club. So Villa is not going to exercise a right to sign Harvey Elliott. So he's going to be coming back to the club as well. So with that added on to it, then we might be like holding off on a lot of, like, another big signing coming in. But Semenya would be a good signing. I would love to have Semenya at the club. He had an excellent season last season and is looking at amazing this season. So we'd love to have Semenya at the club. That is something, again, I think that we should have looked at in the summer, is to try to find another winger. We needed another winger. We looked at a few. There were rumors about a bunch, and I thought that we are going to get one, but we need another winger. We also need a centre back. So I don't know if we're going to make a bid for Guehi coming up in the January as well, to see if we can sign him. Maybe try to get him in before the end of the season. So that's something that we might be looking at coming up January, because we definitely need a defender. We definitely need defenders. The good news is Real Madrid is not looking at Konate. The bad news is Arne Slot with his tactics make Konate looks like one of the worst defender on the planet, because again, our defense, both Konate, both Virgil, and the fullbacks over the last, I would say, 10 games, have not gotten any form of cover. they're just left to do it on their own while everybody else is pushing forward. So again, we might see, we hopefully can see a change when the manager change up his formation, and hopefully we can get Konate signed up. I know a lot of people at this moment in the fan base is not a fan. A lot of people right now is who want to get rid of him, but at the moment is, how much is it going to cost us to get a defender right now, the level of Kanate, if we just let him leave on a free? Yes, he's having a bad start to the season, which again, it's common. Like, it's common for Kanate. Every season, I swear, Kanate has like somewhat of a bad start and then picks up throughout the course of the season and start looking great. Like, once you start getting a run a game together, once the manager starts to show that he believes in him. But the problem is that we look at like this season, every game that we're losing this season, the first person to get hooked off the field is Konate and throw on attackers instead of trying to figure out the formation that the team is playing and trying to counter that. That's something that we see from the manager last season that we didn't see this season. So I think Konate confidence has gotten shot, but we also do need another centre back because the young kid that we got from the Italian league, he's out for the season. He looked really good in that game that he played, but he's out for the season. So, and we would have been short anyway. And they see the likes of Joe Gomez just sitting on the bench, rotting away until the manager decides that he wants to give him a go, and then look how great he looks against West Ham. We'd love to see that again, to be fair, and would love to see just the same lineup, the exact same lineup if possible. Keep Salah on the bench, bring Salah on in the second half, stuff like that. Just give him some time. Give him some time to get back hungry again, come on the field to prove that he wants to be a part of whatever is happening. And yeah, that's as much as I can say for that bit. Where else do we need? Where else do we need? We need a manager. If he can't turn it around, we do need a manager. That's something else that I think the club might be looking at bringing in. I know there's a lot of stick going around for like international fans or fans that are not a part of from Liverpool that wants the manager to be gone. To they're getting a lot of stick online right now, which I'm just thinking that it's crazy. I mean, if they're going after the manager, like being rude, being all that kind of stuff, I can get it. But if it's just that they just don't believe that he's good enough to take the club forward anymore, then that's a personal opinion. That's someone's opinion. My opinion about him losing his job or him leaving Liverpool is based on the patterns of what I see he's been doing over the last 10 games. And then I'm like, okay, then, because it starts to question, where was the coach that was there last season? That was just relaxed. Um, Things isn't going well. He just make adjustments during the game. Didn't have to take anybody off. Didn't have to put anybody on. Just move some parts around, and then we would be in charge. We would be dominating the game again. Like, that manager. Where is that manager? And again, I get it. He's adjusting because the league has changed now. It's now back to the 90s where it's free kick and long throws and all that kind of stuff. Even though Sky is celebrated, oh, it's a rollback. Let's roll back to when the Premier League used to be one of the worst leagues to watch in Europe because all they did was long throws and long balls, and ball wasn't on the ground. Nothing exciting. That's what Sky's celebrating right now. It's going back, rolling back, roll back the years. Yes. Um, so that's the other thing, and I think it's just might need some adjustment for the manager as well to figure out a way how to counter that. However, and I would say this, however, he needs that time to get all that worked out. We should not be losing games the way that we are losing games while he's figuring that out. He should be going into games. He has a backroom staff. If your backroom staff isn't able to produce these data for you, what you need to do, what you need to change going into the game, then you might have to take a look at your backroom staff. That's just what I'm thinking. Because like if you're having trouble with a set piece, for example, or long throws, maximum 2 games, you should have like real problems in 2 games. By the time the third game come around, you should start to find ways of dealing with it. So by the fourth game come around, then this is not a problem anymore. That's what top managers do. You figure out a way of how to stop these from taking effect. We have it. You have enough data there. You've seen it. These teams that are coming in with long throws and long balls and all this kind of stuff, that's the way that they've been playing all season. So the fact that you're taking this long to figure it out is the fact that it's either you are not able to adjust quickly, or your backroom staff is not doing the job that they're supposed to do to try to figure out how to stop these. So you're going to need to have a long sit with your backroom staff to figure out, what's happening here. Why are we conceding so much from these long throws? And then you start figuring out a way to work with it. You can't tell me that you don't have enough time on the training ground to get this across of how to fix it. Other managers do, and they have the same amount of games per week. Other top managers do it. So you have to figure out how you're going to get that across. Is either by the other people that's a part of your training group. It's by watching videos, whatever it might take, but it shouldn't be taking this long for us to adjust. It shouldn't be taking this long for you to even realizing that Gakpo needs to link up better with Kirkes. It shouldn't take you this long to realize that Kirkes inverting is not his strength. And if you're not playing to a player's strength and you're exposing his weakness, that player looks like crap. And exactly what it is. I don't think Kirkes is a crap defender. I think he's a young fullback that has a lot to learn. But I don't think that if you expose him and leave him hanging, it's going to help his confidence to develop or Liverpool. I don't think Bradley need to invert, because again, Bradley's strength is overlapping, going around, getting that ball in. That's Bradley's strength. He's another one. He's almost like Robertson, up and down that touchline. Kirk is the same, up and down that touchline. Allow these players to thrive on what they are good at. Cody Gakpo's strength, cutting and shoot. Okay, if Cody Gakpo's strength is cutting and shoot, then stop having playing touchline winger. Okay, I get this is maybe the way that you want to play, but you have to understand also that the players that you have. Salah, strength, cutting and shoot. Get them closer to goal, if that's the case. Yes, I know you have Isak coming in, Eketike coming in. We need to play to the strengths of a striker. We haven't been having like an out-and-out striker that we have to play to the strength of, like, in a very, very long time at Liverpool. No, we do. We had Darwin Núñez. To be fair, he got a lot of chances, and at the moment couldn't turn it around. But we didn't actually play to his strength for most of the time he was at Liverpool. That's why I'm like, okay, maybe it's not working out. Should move on, because again, we're not going to play to your strength. Waste of time you're being here. That was with Darwin Núñez. Now we have number 9s, and we do have number 10. We have players that can play in the 10 position and be creative. So the fact is that maybe the problem is that we can't play Salah and Gakpo on the field at the same time. That could be the case. We all figure this out as fans. 99.9% of the fans who figured this out, including myself, does not have a coaching badge. We don't have a coaching badge, right? We're just there watching the game, looking at it. And if we don't have a coaching badge, we're able to watch a game, we're able to look at it, we're able to see that, okay, this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed. The manager needs to fix all of that as well. And because he's not able to, then that's where the problem comes in. But anyway, people, this is where I'm leaving you for this week. Catch you on the other one. I will go live again after the Liverpool result, not the same day, but the next morning after, just to sit, relax, analyze the game, and see, are we heading in the right direction? That's it. It's just, are we heading in the right direction? All right. Thanks for the new subscriber. Still trying to get to 200 subs. Remember, like the video when you jump on. If you're watching it back on the replay, drop a sub. All right. Peace. Catch you on the other one.